My friend, it is great talking to you because the last time we spoke, you had a partner with you, right?
Sir, I do. Yeah, I did, and I still do, actually.
Yeah, and who was it again?
It's Meyer Clarity.
How did that whole thing go, man, with the collaboration that you guys did?
It went great, and I felt so good about what we did on the Aliens project that actually Meyer kind of got behind the helm of the illvibe sound as well, and he executive produced this album as well.
I love this, man. I mean, is it your musical... is it like almost like family now, man? Even though you work with these people, I mean, there just seems to be something that connects. Because there's even something else too. As we speak, you're doing tonight with somebody else who I just met recently who's going to be performing with.
Yeah, I think you're talking about Jenna Nation. Yeah, so tonight in Toronto, I'm performing with Meyer and Jenna Nation and the whole musical family of these people that I've been working with and playing in Europe with and in California with, and then, sometimes right here in Toronto as well.
Wow, you know what, man? Sooner or later, people are going to start calling you the Godfather. You realize that, man, because that's how families are built, and the family leader is the Godfather.
That's it, man. And recently, my imprint, Heavy Ox Records, which up until now has just been essentially me, we signed Meyer Clarity formally. So now it's myself, and we've got the super genius Meyer, who's been helping me with my sound officially on the label. And yeah, there's a real cool ensemble of artists that we've been working with consistently over the last year.
When you think about it, and I want you to talk about this, when you first got, even just thinking about getting into the music, man, did you ever think it would reach where it has now?
I mean, you always have dreams of being able to do it for a living, of being able to travel the world and make music that's on par with the stuff that you listened to on the radio, when you were a kid, that really got you into it. And for a little while, I had started to wonder if we were ever going to kind of get to that spot. And now we're there. So I have this kind of combination of, yeah, I totally did dream this, but for a minute I was wondering if we were ever going to kind of get over that plateau and get to that spot where we could travel the world and kind of quit the day job and that stuff. So yeah, I'm just very happy.
Does it help with the way fans can reach you these days? Because let's face it, a lot of artists just trying to get their music on radio, extremely hard because radio plays a different sort of form. It seems like these days, even though radio might do one thing, fans actually make their own judgment and say, hey, I can find you through this, I'm coming to see you.
You're 100% right. You think about how many listeners a radio station might have in a given market, and I can reach that number of people through my Instagram. Or through my Facebook, or through my Twitter, or through Spotify, or any number of the platforms. And I think that's something that I like to do and that I do well on the internet, is I build like communities of like people who have a similar vibe and a similar energy, and then I make music for those people.
How did this all start for you, man? Where did it all begin?
I mean, I'm crazy. I just, like, when I was a kid, I think, if you looked at my report cards, there was no denying I was going to kind of move in this direction. It was just like, I'm loud. I always want to be funny. I always want to make art, whether it's drawing or nowadays it's video, podcasting. That's me. I like to make content and make art. And I'm an '80s baby, so I fell in love with hip hop just like you and everybody else. So.
Wow. But to know though that you were going to do this, I mean, what were the steps after you got out of high school? What were the things that you did?
I mean, it's about the 10,000 hours. I spent a lot of time writing. My early records are all raps about raps. It's like you're that kid who wants to be respected as a rapper. And you have to kind of get through that to get to the spot where you're writing really great, timeless music that's about life and love and it's really authentic. So what did I do after high school? I wrote and I practiced on microphones.
I've never asked this question. You're going to be the first person I ever asked this. What was it like to get your first rejection? Whether it be from a record company or somebody saying, no, you're not performing here. What was it and how did you handle it?
I don't know if I remember my first rejection, but you get rejected a lot. It's like the sales game. They say you got to take 100 no's to get a yes. These days, I apply to a lot of festivals. That's like kind of the thing I'm really focused on. I just booked HipHop Camp in Prague, but I apply to like 10 a year, and you're usually 0 for 10. That's how festivals work. Even major artists often, it's tough to get on the really big festivals. So you kind of have to just know when you're getting into it. Most times the answer is no, because there's a lot of talents out there. There's a lot of hip-hop. Hip-hop's the #1 popular genre on broadcast in North America. So you got to know that there's a million other talented cats vying for those same positions. You just kind of got to know that and get ready for the next one.
What keeps you going then?
What else am I going to do? You know what I mean? What else am I supposed to do? I'm pot committed. I got this AntiGravity shirt. I shaved my beard in this weird way. I got too many tattoos to get a day job now. What else am I going to do?
Then let's get to the album, man. Like I said, you're working on another project when we last talked. When did this filter in? Was this going on at the same time?
Aliens kind of interrupted AntiGravity. I had already started working on it. I wasn't happy with where it was going. It just didn't feel as big as it should. And then Aliens came about. And while we were making Aliens, it's so big, it's so animated, that the wheel started turning. And I was like, oh, we should really take some of this magic and infuse it into my AntiGravity album. And maybe that's the missing magic ingredient. And so we took 6 of the songs off of AntiGravity, and I put them out separately as a little side project called the Neo Blues EP that I put out this winter. And it was all the like more lackluster, down-tempo records. I don't want to say lackluster, but down-tempo, bluesier records. And we replaced them with 6 up-tempo, vibed-out records and took the album to a whole new place.
Wow. Storyline. Is there a storyline with this?
No, the storyline for me is, this album's a bit of an experiment. On Fire Breather...
Wait a minute. I'm going to stop you there. Every one of your albums is an experiment.
You're right. Aliens was an experiment in terms of we were just being silly and having fun. Yeah. But this is more in terms of if I take out all of the pretense, all the false pretenses, all of the, I'm trying to be Jay-Z that the young me kind of had, and really just make authentic illy music, how will the world respond to that? And it's really, it's about feminism and it's about... drinking and smoking, and these are the things I think about and I talk to my fiance about and I podcast about. And instead of filtering that before putting it on my album, which I've done in the past, trying to kind of be hip hop, I didn't filter it this time. I just kind of did me. We put it all out there, and I'm just really excited to see what people have to say about it.
Can we say this is a new form of hip hop?
I mean, certainly I'm going to say where hip hop's going, me and sort of hip hop have like forked a little bit. I'm a really big fan of what people are putting out. I can't stop playing the Cardi B album, but it's so a different genre than what AntiGravity is.
But here's one thing, and I was talking to somebody about this yesterday. Do we have the artists like yourself? Do we have those artists where 20, 30 years from now that your music is going to stand the test of time? Because I think that's very important right now, because I don't feel there are a lot of artists who can do that. They might be able to stand it, they may be able to roll at that moment, but 30 years from now, will we still be hearing this music?
I think you're right, and I'm a big fan of all types of music. Music in the moment, using a hot new buzzword that the internet loves, that's cool. Like I like that too. When Tory Lanez made Liddy, the whole world was saying the word Liddy, and I love that. But I don't know that that's how you make a song that we talk about in 20 years using popular like phrases from last week, from the internet. I definitely approach things a bit different. I came up on Motown. My dad is a big classic rock guy, and so when I think about writing songs, I'm factoring in songs like The Eagles or like Turn the Page. And so I want to write timeless stuff like that. And so if you listen to The Get Up, it's timeless. If you listen to Outside In, it's timeless just in terms of its themes. There's a song called Figure It Out, and it's all about, I bet you thought I wouldn't figure it out, that you were cheating on me. And it's really about this, like, you think you're smarter than me, and that you can just do whatever you want, but I figured it out. And I'm really proud of myself for figuring out that you're, messing around behind me. And that's a real thing that a lot of us have been through. And so the album has a lot of those types of moments.
Look, you have all these things going on, and I don't want to pass this aside, though. But you mentioned fiance. When's the wedding going to be, man?
September 8th. I'm putting it on.
How can you do all this, man?
Well, she's, to be honest, Jess, my fiance and my partner in podcasting and everything else, is planning the wedding. So she's doing most of the work, I'm going to be honest. And one of the things I'm really good at is I like to keep good people around me. So, I've got Meyer and Notion around to help me make sure that the music is great. I'm not in the studio for 10 hours a day mixing. I trust my mix champions to do that. And my fiance is my wedding champion, and I've got an amazing team of publicists, and I do my part in the mix, and so I got lots of time. I'm watching The Good Wife. I got lots of time.
There you go. Okay, so shows we're going to see in Toronto. I mean, we kind of already mentioned about what's happening tonight, but other shows in the summertime we're going to be seeing around Southern Ontario?
So generally, I throw one party a year in Toronto, and that is tonight. However, I am performing as part of the Toronto Summer Concert Music Series, like outside on Yonge Street, and I believe my date is August 19th. But you can check my social media for updates.
Do you know which one? Because there's a lot of them.
Yeah, I think it's right. It's like Yonge and Gerrard area. Yeah, and I'll post a little map and all that on my social media. So if you follow me, I'll make sure I update.
And speaking of social media, website, Twitter, all that stuff, where do we go?
illvibemusic.com. On Instagram, it's illvibe. Facebook, it's illvibe. Unfortunately, on Twitter, it's illvibemusic. But yeah, I'm easy to find, man.
All right. All right, man. Look, congratulations on the new album.
Appreciate you, Rudy.
Congratulations on the wedding coming up, man. But more importantly, thank you for making what you do with this Canadian music.
I appreciate you very much, Rudy. You too.